was in the people. And the experience was one thing for black males, but there was also the experience of black females. And your mother's story is a gripping one. It tells us something about how black women became involved in the movement, which of course, right, is represented best by Fannie Lou Hamer. So can we talk a little bit about your mother's story?
Absolutely.
And then we'll go to Dr. DeBerry.
So my mother sends her regrets that she could not be here this evening, but she sent her words for me to share. I was born and raised for the most part in the Mississippi Delta, where black people had no rights that the white power structure respected. In the segregated South, oppression, discrimination, and racism were part of our daily lives. I wanted my life to be different from the lives of my parents and the other people in my community, but I also knew that if you were black and born in Mississippi during the time in which I was born, there were boundaries that you did not cross. And if you crossed those boundaries, you would surely walk into a storm. As Bernice Johnson Reagan, the founder of the singing group Sweet Honey in the Rock, said, if there's a promise of a storm and you want change in your life, you must walk into the storm. And when you get to the other side, you will be different. Notice that she said, you will be different, not the world will be different. But when you make changes in your own life and begin to see yourself in a different light and begin to know what the possibilities are for you, you change yourself. And by changing yourself, the world changes. I knew I wanted to move beyond the circumstances in which I was born, and so at the first opportunity I had, I made a decision to join with other people who felt the same way I did. I joined the Civil Rights Movement in the spring of 1963 when I realized that things could be different if we organized and worked together to use the power of the vote to help make change. I was still a high school student, yet I walked into the storm. I started attending mass meetings in Greenwood and in my hometown of Itabena. After graduating from high school, I became a full-time member of SNCC. During this time, the focus of the Mississippi Civil Rights Movement was voter registration. I participated in that effort to learn more about how to share information with black people across Mississippi concerning the importance of voting. In early June of 1963, I, along with Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer, Annelle Ponder, June Johnson, and several others, attended a citizenship education workshop in Charleston, South Carolina. The goals of the citizenship schools were to increase literacy and provide knowledge of citizenship rights, to empower black citizens to become voters. When we were returning home from this training, we were arrested and jailed in Winona, Mississippi, for using the white-only area of the bus terminal. After this incident, I began working full-time for SNCC as a field secretary based in the COFO office in Jackson, conducting voter education workshops, and helping black people throughout Mississippi register to vote. When black people were not allowed to participate in the Mississippi 1963 Democratic Party primary elections, the idea of the freedom vote was birthed. In the fall of 1963, I took a bus to Clarksdale and spent a week conducting mock precinct meetings in preparation for the upcoming freedom vote. The success of the 1963 freedom vote, where close to 80,000 black citizens participated, led to the formation of the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party in the spring of 1964. MFDP went on to challenge the legitimacy of seating the all-white Mississippi delegation at the 1964 convention in Atlantic City.
Thank you.